Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm going to be going over my 2024 Senate prediction and explain why Republicans are more than likely going to take back the Senate in 2024. Before we start the video, please like it, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and make sure that you share this video with a friend so we can get this up on the algorithm. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So pretty much for this prediction, I'm going to be relying on the guaranteed three, which is essentially a concept that I've taken from Retaking the Nation, which is essentially that there are going to be certain states that are democratically held Senate seats that are going to end up flipping, to the Republicans in 2024, no matter what, because of the actual states they are. I'm going to leave New Jersey up blank for now because I do actually think that that might be competitive depending on Bob Menendez is running or not. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen there. But pretty much West Virginia is the first guaranteed three state on here. Joe Manchin is their incumbent senator. Jim Justice is up in the polls in the primary and in the general against Manchin by a bit. So regardless whether Manchin runs or not, it's basically a guaranteed state for Republicans. And if you look at Montana and Ohio, which are the other two races, I'd argue that at this point, Montana is going to be such a big victory for Trump that no matter what happens, I think the Republican is going to win by around 5 or 6. I think they're going to beat Tester there. However, in Ohio, even though Trump will win it by 12, I think Sherrod Brown is relatively decent there. I mean, as a politician, he LARPs as his moderate, even though that's not necessarily the case. However, I do think he'll probably lose the state by like 3 or 4 points. I think he is a bit of an electoral juggernaut there in some aspects, so I do think it'll be about a couple of points win, but I think he is going to be doomed this cycle. You are going to see here states like Texas and Florida are going to go into the likely Republican column. Rick Scott, despite winning elections by very close margins, will probably do okay in the general election just because of how right Florida's trended. And in Texas, Cruz's images has improved a little bit. On top of that, Texas the trends kind of reverted backwards in the 2020 election and 22 midterms. I mean, in 2020, there were still trends to the left, but they weren't as strong as people were expecting. They were less strong than people were expecting them to be. And so I do think that Cruz will end up winning re-election by easy 8 or 9 points, especially against a candidate that preaches for, banning assault rifles and things of that nature. I think New Mexico, hold on, let me change this back. I think New Mexico, the state of Minnesota, the state of New Jersey are all going to be likely states. As long as Bob Menendez is the one running in New Jersey, it'll probably be a 6 or 7 point win for Bob Menendez. I think Republicans there are just not electorally viable, even with a very unpopular candidate like that. I think Bob Menendez will kind of barely scrape by. I think Klobuchar will win by about 12 or 13, even though she does win by more and she's an electoral juggernaut. I think with Trump on the ballot, it'll drag her ticket down a little bit. So I still think she'll outperform Biden by like a massive amount. It'll probably be anywhere from a 12 to 14 point win. And New Mexico is going to be like a 7 or 8 point win there. I think Angus King or whoever the main candidate is there is going to win pretty easily. And you kind of have Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Virginia as your final states. I think with Hung Cao as the nominee, they are going to get Virginia. I actually think pretty close. I think people are really underestimating the GOP there, so I do think it'll be about a 3 to 4.5 point victory for Tim Kaine. I still think he'll hold on, but I just don't see how he's going to be, losing it or winning it by 7 or 8 points. I just can't see that happening. I think that the state of Pennsylvania will be about a 2 or 3 point win for Bob Casey. Dave McCormick is the presumptive nominee there. He's probably not going to perform as well as Trump. And Bob Casey is kind of an electoral juggernaut in the state. So I do think that, Bob Casey will probably end up winning it by about 2 or 3 points. Michigan, the incumbent senator there, is not going to be running anymore. And so I think John James, I think John James is running for Congress now. I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, he's probably going to announce his Senate bid. So if John James is nominee, they'll have a pretty good chance there, I guess, especially with Trump on the ballot. but I think this race is going to be closer than expected. I do think the Israeli thing is going to really hurt Biden. It's going to hurt the Muslim turnout quite a bit. So I do think it'll affect the down ballot races a little bit. So in this case, I'm going to leave Michigan in the till column. And now for Arizona, I do actually think Arizona is going to end up going to Kerry Lake. Oh, let me characterize Hawaii just because, it's going to go safe blue no matter what. So Arizona, you have Gallego, which is an even worse candidate than Katie Hobbs. Kerry Lake seems to be doing pretty good on messaging, and on top of that, Kristen Sinema is going to be splitting the vote, and it seems like she's going to be splitting it somewhat evenly, but taking slightly more votes away from Gallego, which is going to put Kerry Lake barely over the top in that election. I'm expecting her to get about 45 to 46% of the vote with the third party splitting. Especially with RFK and Cornel West on the ballot, it might even help her out, a little bit more. So we'll kind of have to wait and see. Now, Wisconsin, I know Tammy Baldwin is decent in the state, but I think Trump's going to win Wisconsin by just enough points, as well as combined with the third party totals. I do think that Wisconsin will ever so slightly flip Republican on the Senate level, and I think Jackie Rosen will keep her seat in Nevada. And that's pretty much it for the Senate prediction. I have Republicans at 54 Senate seats, with Democrats at 46 Senate seats. So if you guys liked this video, please like the video down below, subscribe to the channel, and make sure that you share this video with a friend so we can get it up on the algorithm. And you guys have a good rest of your Halloween. Goodbye.